channel that is devoted mainly to video games and movies and pop culture and TV and nerdy things. Occasionally, we let the football nerds out of the closet, and Templar 10 is definitely one of the football nerds. I'm a football nerd as well. We're sports guys, and so if that is something that you don't like in your feed, just put us on mute and put your phone down, or put us behind another window just so we get the view count. And we would really appreciate that. But if you are interested in football, the second caveat to that is you might need to be interested in the Detroit Lions, because both of us are Detroit Lions fans. And we're here today to break down the 2025 NFL Draft, in particular the Lions, the Detroit Lions. Detroit. Are you a Detroit or a Detroit guy? How do you pronounce it?
He's Detroit.
It's Detroit, yeah. The entire time on the draft, and I don't know why this is, a lot of the analysts do the Detroit Lions select. It's like, guys, it's no. Like, trust me, I've lived there. I'm from.
They gotta zhuzh it up. They gotta zhuzh it up a little bit.
Yeah,
just add that little extra flair.
Yeah. Well, and I think when you're trying to announce something, you can't go the Detroit Lions, because it's like a you're almost like stumbling over it. But we're going to talk about the draft. One thing that I was, as I was pulling up here, Pride of Detroit, one headline that caught my eye, not the 8 free agent drafts that the Detroit Lions could sing, but that the Atlantic gave the Lions draft class an F. Templar, do you agree with the F rating from the Atlantic on the Lions 2025 draft?
At this point, it's bold of anyone to criticize Brad Holmes. I mean, you want to roll those dice, then by all means. But I remember 2023. Who remembers? Pepperidge Farm remembers 2023 and all the bad draft grades that were getting thrown around for the Lions for that draft class too. Do I agree that it's an F? No. Do I understand? I think according to their analytics, why it ended up with an F? Yes, I understand why. No, okay. In my estimation, I wouldn't give it an F. I'm not sure what I would grade it, but not an F.
No, I give it probably a C. It's C's get degrees, and I think it's exactly what the Lions needed. So let's start from the top then. Who's your favorite pick of the bunch this year?
Oh, my favorite pick. I mean, I don't mind any of the picks, to be honest. My favorite pick is probably Tate Ratledge, maybe. Yes. I mean, just for the photo alone, yes, probably he's my favorite. Just like this huge, like 330-pound guard with like a with a mullet.
Just so much lettuce. Look at that guy.
Just mauling people. Oh. I mean, there's like, it's pretty great. And I mean, the Lions have built through the offensive line. Guard was a major need for us. So like, outside of the kind of memes and like just the majestic hair that this guy has, I think it was a great pick for the team in general. So he's got, I mean, right there, that's your shot.
It's the
that's
best.
Your photo right there. That's it. I mean, that's my favorite pick. I mean, of course, like, and he's a mauler, so he can just slot him in there and let him just run over some people and open up lanes for Gibbs and Montgomery.
Is he? They're saying he's pro ready. Do you think he's pro ready? I mean, yes, Georgia plays essentially the pro style offense, but
that's getting beyond my analytical ability. I haven't thrown on the tape, as it were, to break down all the prospects. So
you haven't Kuipered this one.
No, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not that deep with it, but my understanding is that he is pro ready. He's very good pass and run blocker, and he probably would have gone higher, but he had like an ankle injury that he was dealing with that kind of held him back a bit last season. So, and Brad Holmes loves to gamble on guys with injury histories, that's for sure. So, but obviously they felt comfortable with it. So from my understanding, he can basically come in and plug in. And our 5th round pick, Christian Mahogany, also looked very good down. 5th round pick, also looked very good down the stretch last year. So you slot him in, Tate Ratledge. They also got Miles Frazier, who I liked that as a pickup as well, to come in as a guy just to compete. push either Mahogany, Ratledge, or Graham Glasgow is fighting for his life now.
Yes.
With these three guys there. So I like it. And I mean, I think just, it's just awesome. Tate Ratledge is great.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Tyleik Williams. I know he's the Ohio State University, and I'm a University of Michigan fan. But I got a chance to watch him. I know this is sacrilege, but like once you graduate, I don't have to hate you.
I mean, Taylor Decker's an Ohio State grad, so
yeah, but like Taylor Decker, well, I guess in college he was good. Tyleik Williams like did a number especially in the Michigan game.
Jameson Williams went to Ohio State too.
Yeah, I know. Don't remind me. Like they're playing an hour from Big Blue. Like it's fine. Eventually, like osmosis gets to take some of the stink off of you, and like you're getting paid to do this. Although I guess Tyleik was getting paid at the Ohio State University. The thing I will say though is that I don't know that he's necessarily pro ready. When he is pro ready, though, one of the things that caught my eye here was picking up somebody like DeMarcus Walker or Von Miller and putting them next to Tyleik Williams as edge rusher. So you got an edge rusher and a DT. Oof, that is scary. Yeah, I know Von Miller is probably older than like dirt, but he can still do a number. And if you've got Williams holding 2 or 3 dudes up, look out. Like coming off that left side, look out. Like this is probably my favorite pick for the future. For the right now, it's Tate Ratledge, but for the future, it's going to be Tyleik Williams. Okay, so second thing then, how do you feel overall about the Lions core, kind of going into 2025? Like, how do you feel about
the whole roster?
Not even necessarily the roster, but like the core, just the starters right now. Let's go with the starters. Do you feel like they upgraded with anybody from the draft? Do you feel like it was just kind of like ho-hum, more of the same? Like where's your feeling? Because what the Athletic does is they essentially take their data and math from starting, not necessarily from the roster overall, but from starters. And so I can kind of see why they'd give an F. Do you feel that way, or are you a little more optimistic?
The Lions roster does not have a lot of holes in it. It's one of the better rosters in the NFL. Now, they were very injured last year on defense, especially. Well, pretty much almost exclusively on defense last year.
Yes.
Do I feel like they got better? I think they got better at DT. I think Tyleik Williams was a good selection because I think DJ Reader is not what they were hoping he would be.
Yep.
And I think he's older. And I mean, even if he's good, he's never going to play more than 50% of your snaps anyway. So bringing in a guy like Tyleik Williams makes a ton of sense. Aleem McNeil's not going to start the season because of his injury. So it's going to be a bit before he's back. Roderick Martin, the 2023 third round pick that they reached on, was called a reach at the time. Obviously, they hoped they could develop him into, I think, kind of what Tyleik Williams is.
Yep.
But they just have been unable to do so. So Williams comes in, I think, immediately upgrades the interior of the defensive line.
Yep.
I think he's more athletic than DJ Reader. I think he is probably better already than Roy Lopez, although I'll give Roy Lopez some credit. So, week 1, he's probably our best defensive tackle until Aleem McNeil gets back.
Right.
He won't be playing week 1.
Right.
So I think we upgraded there. Tate Ratledge, I think, is an upgrade probably because Graham Glasgow took a massive step back last season. He did not play well. He had a number of bad games. He was good in 23, but he was quite poor this past season. So now Mahogany played well down the stretch. Ratledge is going to compete maybe with Mahogany at right guard, but Glasgow is going to get pushed for his spot.
Yes.
Because they're paying him not a ton of money, but more money than they're paying these rookies, that's for sure. Or a second-year, fifth-round pick, that's for sure. So he's going to be fighting for his spot. So I think we got better on the offensive line, just regardless of who starts, just in terms of competition, I think we got better. So in terms of what the Lions want to do, which is be strong on the offensive line and be strong on the defensive line, we got better. The rest of the picks are all projections or projects. So Isaac TeSlaa, I'm not happy about what we gave up for him. Brad Holmes just hates third-round picks.
Yep.
Because he just always is willing to trade them away. We swapped one, so I'm not going to really count that. But then we traded like 2 picks away, so it's almost 3 third-round picks essentially. Or it is 3 third-round picks we spent on this guy, who, from my understanding, athletically freak, RAS score 9.97, which is huge. Like incredible RAS score. That's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's like kind of I forget what it stands for, but it's an overall athletic score. And that takes into account your 40 and your length and your vertical and your agility and all these various tests. And he killed it. And he's a big guy. He's the type of receiver we need. Big, 6'3 and a half, 6'4, 4'4. Didn't drop a single pass last season, I think. So great hands.
Yep.
But only almost exclusively played in the slot at Arkansas and had like 500 yards of receiving. Now, apparently their offense is trash. I don't watch college football enough to know that. So it might be something like a Sam Laporta situation where like Sam Laporta played for a trash offense in Iowa and he was the focus of that offense. So he got some attention, but probably not as much as he should have.
Yeah.
And it could be the same thing. There was kind of the offense holding him back, but that's a lot to give up for a project wide receiver. That he has not really played an outside receiver role, which is what they want him to do. They want him to basically be a better version and replacement for Tim Patrick.
Yep.
So is he better than Tim Patrick right now?
No.
I don't know. So that's the problem. It's a projection. It's a pretty big projection based on what he did in college.
Yes.
Now, if he's everything I think they hope he's going to be, it's a home run. It's great. But I don't know. Miles Frazier is from my understanding, pass blocking extraordinaire guard, not a good run blocker. So that's interesting. You're not going to have a rotational guard who only comes in on passing downs. I just can't see a team doing that. So he's going to have to get much better at run blocking if he's going to, he'll push some of these other guys, but he's going to have to get better at run blocking. Ahmad Hassanine from Boise State is a project. He seems like the perfect Dan Campbell type of guy. Told Dan Campbell that he would die for him on the phone when they called to draft him. So he's absolutely the Dan Campbell. He's everything the Lions are looking for in a player. He's the right size that they want. Tough, all effort kind of player. Very physical. But I mean, there's a reason he went in the 6th round, right? Yep. So we'll see what we can get out of him, but I don't have high expectations. But he's only been playing football for 5 years because he came from Egypt, and he's only been playing football at any level since 2019, or something. So, Dan Jackson, the safety, the 7th round picks, they're both probably just special teams guys. I mean, Dan Jackson, shout out Pastor Druzy. He's a big Georgia Bulldogs guy and has been trying to sell us on the idea that Dan Jackson can actually play or actually contribute on defense. I'm skeptical of that in the extreme. Now injuries happen. Maybe Brian Branch has to cover in the slot. There is no depth behind Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph at safety.
Nope.
Now as starters, they're probably the best safety duo in the NFL. Not probably. I think they pretty much are. I don't agree. Atlanta, maybe. I know they have 2 guys who are both good, but I think it's them. So he's not going to start. Now, maybe he'll come in if he's good enough and be a sort of depth guy if Branch has to move to the slot or if one of them gets injured. And then Dominic Lovett is a special teams guy, wide receiver from Georgia as well.
Yep.
We have slot receivers coming out of our eyeballs. We don't need another slot receiver. So maybe that was more than you were asking for.
No, but that's great. Yeah,
so it's a lot of projects. It's a lot of in 2 or 3 years, this draft might look incredible. But we just don't know.
I want to bring your attention to, so it's the in my opinion, linebacker is an issue for the Lions, and that's why I was bringing up Von Miller. Alex Anzalone, great. Jack Campbell, great. Derek Barnes, Trevor Nowaski,
they like Derek Barnes because they extended Derek Barnes last offseason, I think.
They did.
They really like him.
He didn't really have he had an okay season. He didn't have a great season.
Well, he didn't play much of this season because he got hurt. He was another one of the many, many guys who played a couple games and then was out the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think he went down in the fifth or sixth game. But even up till that point, it was nothing. So that's why I'm saying like this kind of like the linebacking core worries me, because if you're going to play 3 down linemen, you best believe now if they're going to play 4, great. But if they're going to play 3 and try to be fast, you best believe you need something here. And I don't know. That's why I see them doing something like Von Miller or DeMarcus Walker and then dropping them a little bit. Because you can put the cool thing about what Dan Campbell does with his edge rushers is he drops them into pass coverage occasionally. They're not just all rush, edge rushing. Like sometimes he'll it's the double blitz or whatever the heck they call it, the read blitz. So, and that's a thing right now, because especially if teams, the thing that I saw coming out of the NFL draft in total, I thought it was a pretty ho-hum draft overall. There was 2 big stories. But outside of that, obviously the 2 big stories were Shedeur and Travis. And that was it. There is fun. I think it was a sleeper year because you looked at what the Eagles did in 2024 and how they really just romped to the Super Bowl with a running back, a quarterback who can squat the house, and like an offensive line that is just like an absolute machine. And I think this is the year in particular, it's been going this way for a little bit, but this is the year in particular where we start to get away from the pass offense and we start to turn back into the run offense. The NFL swings, right? Like it's just, it swings back and forth. And I feel like that's this year. And so that's what I'm saying. Like we're going to need linebacking core to plug those gaps. You can't have edge rushers. Your edge rushers are going to get beat every single time by 5 down linemen. They're just going to get smashed. And that's what scares me. You need linebackers to plug those gaps. So you can't rely on your safeties. Like, no offense to Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, but like they're not bringing down anybody from the Eagles line. They're just not going to do it. And if you're true about the next 2 or 3 years, these are the next 2 or 3 years where we kind of got to sell out here. Because as we've talked about, like the salary cap in not this year necessarily, but in 26 and 27, it's going to hurt, and the Lions are going to have to make some really tough decisions. You kind of got like a 2-year window here where you need to put up or shut up. And I'm ready for it. I know you're ready for it. And all of the Lions fans, like we're in this really, the grace has worn off. Let's put it that way. The grace period of the Lions being like a fairy tale story that's been over the last 3 years, 2.5 years. Mm. It's worn off. Like we need something to show for this. We can't just have screw ups in conference finals. We can't have that. So I don't know. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people did say that Tyleik Williams was, I think he was a pick that we needed. I think we were weaker at DT than we had appeared to be, but some people were saying it was kind of to combat the Eagles, right? That we needed to be strong up front.
Sure.
And we often play with 4. I mean, people call the Lions system a 3-4, but I feel like we have 4 down linemen more often than not. So I don't know how that shakes out. But because our starting front will generally be what's there. Well, I mean, Marcus Davenport's going to play 2 games and they get hurt, so that's not going to happen. But like, no offense to the guy. I hope he plays the entire season and I hope he plays great. But like, he has never played an entire season in his like 8 years in the NFL or something. So like, I'm not going to hold my breath. So, but like, Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport. So that, and all of those guys are strong. They're big. Reader is a guy who can eat up 2 guys. And so then the rest of your D-line has one-on-ones. Hutch will regularly win those. Davenport, the brief time he's healthy, can win those or push the pocket at least. And McNeil is a pretty good pass rush penetrator from the DT spot. So our D-line is pretty strong when it's healthy, and then our linebackers, because our D-line is strong, can clean up. And Jack Campbell took a big step from year 1 to year 2, so he played much better.
That's true.
And he was basically the only permanent fixture outside of the safeties last year that played the whole season. It was pretty much Jack Campbell and the 2 safeties.
Anzalone was around for a fair bit.
He had that broken arm though, so he missed like a good chunk of the year. And then even all the corners, like Arnold missed a couple games. what's his name? Carlton Davis missed a couple games. So it was Jack Campbell and the two safeties against the world, like basically. Everyone else was like guys off the street or like whatever. So it was a tough situation. So he took a big step up. Anzalone is solid. He's never going to be a superstar. He's not a superstar, but he's solid and he can do his job. For some reason, they really like Derek Barnes. And I think they like that Sam linebacker role is weird for the Lions because they ask it to do everything. I mean, that role is supposed to be like, they ask him to perform in coverage, which he's not very good at. They ask him to rush the passer, which he's not very good at. And then they ask him to come up against the run, which he's fine at. So like Derek Barnes is sort of okay at everything and not that great at anything. And so it's a weird sort of role. But anyway, they want to be strong up front and then let the linebackers come and clean up. And that's another reason why they go after a specific type of corner, which is guys who will tackle.
Yes.
So like now, is Terrion Arnold going to bring down Saquon Barkley?
No.
I don't know. Probably not.
No.
But he's going to try. And all of their guys tackled. Like, so Branch is one of the best, tackling safeties in the NFL. Joseph is more of a cover guy, but he'll come up and tackle if he has to. But Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, Amik Robertson, despite his like relatively smaller size, all of those guys will tackle, plus a strong D-line, plus the linebacker. So they're built to stop the run. Like the Lions are built to stop the run. And I think when fully healthy, they could slow down the Eagles. Like Saquon is going to get his. Like you're never going to totally shut him down. Their offensive line is too good. He's too good. Like he's going to get his yards, but you can slow him down enough that I think would give them a chance, assuming their defense is healthy.
Yeah.
Like even if they beat the Commanders last year, they get smoked by the Eagles. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
With as injured as that defense was, there's no way. Even if the offense had played lights out, Saquon would have just run all over them.
Yep.
Like there would have been no way. So anyway, I don't want to get off track, but overall, I'm pretty happy with where it is. In terms of your point about linebacker, I wouldn't mind some more depth, but again, their injuries last year were like kind of almost comical how many injuries they had. So like when they're all there, it's a pretty good starting three at linebacker. They like to play a lot of three linebackers, which is a little unusual. Like they don't play that much nickel compared to other teams. Although, as you say, this is how it goes, right? The league trends towards the passing game for so many years that linebackers get smaller, safeties become more just about coverage, corners become more just about coverage. They're not asking guys to come up and tackle anymore. And then now it's like, well, yeah, we're running against a 7-8 man box, whatever, but all these guys are like corner size. So like, we're just going to run at them. Like, what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
And you've seen that with the Eagles. You've seen that with the Lions because they've been happy to run against whoever.
True.
And even teams like the Chiefs and like a few other ones have shown that they're willing to just run against other people. So now you're seeing the running game coming back, and then you'll probably see a response. And Jack Campbell was a little bit ahead because Jack Campbell is a run-stuffing linebacker, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he was the guy that they drafted 2 years ago. Again, going back to, that draft, I don't know if it got many Fs, but it got plenty of Cs and Ds. And, it was almost a little prophetic. Jack Campbell has been, I think, kind of the right choice for where the NFL is trending because he's very good against the run. So
it just pulled up the Jack Campbell, the hockey player, and I went, wait a minute, he's not 33.
There's also an author named Jack Campbell. I read a whole series of books by Jack Campbell, an author too. Read a sci-fi series, but so I think the Lions are built for the direction that the NFL seemingly wants to go, and I think they are built to compete with the Eagles. Now, a lot's going to be determined by obviously injuries. The Eagles were largely healthy last year. Mm-hmm. I believe Brandon Graham got hurt on defense, so that was a fairly big loss.
True.
But other than that, as far as I'm aware, on defense and on offense, they were pretty much completely healthy. So, like, I think they're built the right way. I think they're going to, as you say, they're going to have 2 years basically, and then the cap situation is just going to become crazy, untenable for them. Yep. I was surprised that they paid Kirby Joseph this year because we talked about it last time. We talked about the Lions just a while ago now, but we did, is that you have all those guys from the 23 draft coming up this next year, and you're not going to be able to pay them all. I mean, Jack Campbell won't be that expensive, and Laporta, depending on the year he has, might not be crazy expensive. But Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to be fairly pricey. I mean, you have a fifth-year option with him. but running backs are coming back and they're making more money again. And then Branch is going to be expensive too, because he's another guy who's going to demand like $20 million a year. And I can't imagine how you can afford to pay two safeties $20 million a year. Plus, they haven't paid Hutch yet. He's going to get 40 a year.
Yep.
So
I remember seeing these numbers real quick for the Joseph. So 2026 salary cap hit at 5.8. Okay. 27, 5.24. Okay. But then it's 9.1 in 28, and then 13.0 million cap hit, and then almost an $18 million cap hit in 2029. And then if he gets paid out up till he's a $39 million cap hit in 2029, it'll never get there, or in 2030. It'll never get that far, obviously.
No.
But the fact that even just the cap hit, let alone payroll, let alone all the other things there, his cap hit, when you're only running what, a 60 something million dollar cap room anyway, before everything else is paid out. Oof, that's rough, man. That's why I'm saying, like, they got 2 years. Like, get on the clock, boys. You got 2 years, and then what are you gonna do? Find a rookie quarterback and cut everybody from the offense just to keep your defense? Like, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll probably restructure Goff maybe, but once you start getting into restructuring and like pushing more money down the road, if you're not careful, you end up like the Saints, who are just in cap purgatory over here and are like way over the cap and in real trouble, and they can't make any moves or anything. So I don't know. We'll see. I like what they did in the draft. It's not an exciting draft. We have a couple holes on this roster. We're going to address those holes, and we're going to roll the dice on some guys like a TeSlaa, like a Hassanine in the 6th round that maybe can do something for us. So I appreciate I understand the strategy, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Is
it going to work out? I don't know. We'll see.
It is the most Midwestern draft ever. Like, this is just straight up, like, if the Iowa Hawkeyes were an NFL team, this is how they would draft, right? Just find me all the big dudes out in the barn and let's put them in the draft. Like, that's essentially what we did, outside of like TeSlaa, of course. But what are you gonna do? Find me the dudes with the mullets.
One nice thing is, I mean, it affected our offseason schedule a little bit, but the Lions have 4 preseason games this year because they're playing in the Hall of Fame game.
It's true.
So that does increase your injury risk, which isn't great, but I mean, it does mean a lot more reps for the sort of backups. And the Lions came out pretty weak to start last season. Like, the first couple East games of the year, they didn't play that well. I mean, they won most of the games other than the Tampa game in week 2, but they came out pretty flat. And so I hope having 4 games, maybe they'll come out a little stronger, and they will have to, because they have, I think, the 3rd hardest schedule this year. And their road schedule is brutal in terms of the teams that they have to play on the road. They went 8-0 on the road this past season, and the NFL said, nah, none of that. No more of that. Like, that ain't happening again. Apparently, like, someone had a bone to pick with the Lions going 8-0 on the road. Maybe someone lost a ton of money, because our road schedule this coming season is brutal.
Great. I love that.
It's going to be tough, man. We'll see, because the Bears should be better, a lot better, with a competent coach, which maybe Ben will be. I don't know. We'll see what he is as a head coach, but I imagine Caleb will be a lot better.
Yes.
The Packers should be solid again. I mean, who knows with Jordan Love? He's kind of hit and miss and week to week, but whatever. The Vikings will be good again.
Yep.
It's a tough division, and I think the NFC in general is better than it was a couple of years ago, much stronger than it was a couple of years ago. So,
I mean, yes, the Eagles, but even outside of that, I feel like the pendulum has swung again from AFC,
Rams.
Yeah, AFC being dominant to the NFC dominating. And I think we're back to where NFC is gonna take it for the next couple of years.
I think so. So, an interesting situation, but as you say, I think they got a couple of years. So guys like TeSlaa have to develop awfully fast.
Yep.
If he's going to contribute.
Yep. Well, that's all I had for the NFL draft, outside of the fact that it was a ho hum draft. Are you the type of guy that's like breaking down draft boards and stuff like that, or are you the type of guy that wakes up the next morning and goes, "Oh, they got him"?
I mean, I stayed up and watched it. Like I did stay up to see who they picked in the first round and then in round 2 and 3. And then I was checking in on it because Brad tends to move around a lot as he did. Like he traded up multiple times again. And so I was following it, but I don't get too attached to draft boards because they're never right when it comes to the Lions.
Yep.
Like they're always wrong when it comes to the Lions. Like,
yes.
I mean, the first season, I mean, they got Penny Sewell, which people didn't think would fall. Season 2, they get Hutch, who again was supposed to go number 1, and then he kind of didn't. But so there's not a lot there. But from 23 on, no one's been able to predict what the Lions will do in the first round. So I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I just sort of hold on for the ride, and we'll see what happens. I do hope that they pick up a pass rusher. You know, you had it there. What was it, Marcus Lawrence from the Bears?
Yep.
Maybe as a guy who's the kind of size. Marcus Walker, sorry, from the Bears. Zadarius Smith is kind of the big one people have talked about. Who's a guy who they brought in last year, and then they cut him because he was going to cost too much money. He was going to be like $11 million against the cap or something, and didn't play up to that amount of money. Now I think he'll be better if he's playing with Hutch than if he's the guy, which is what he was last year. So I hope they bring him back. That will help shore up the inevitable Marcus Davenport absence. And I hate to rag on the guy. I really do. I hope he plays the whole season. I do. I hope he plays the whole season and he's healthy and it's great. Like, nothing against him, but the guy just cannot stay healthy. He just can't. So he has never played a full season. When he's on the field, he's pretty solid. He's strong. He can push the pocket. He's solid against the run. But he's never played an entire season. So from 2018 on, the most games he's ever played was 2022. He played 15 games, so he almost played a whole season. Yeah. And then since then, he played 4 games with Minnesota and only 2 for the Lions before he tore his tricep. So, I mean, if we can get 15 games out of him, great. Like, if he can get back to even the 13 to 15 range, I'll take it. But in that game, in that season, he played 15 games. He only had half a sack. It's not a great look either. So I think we definitely need some help. I think I'm not one of the Lions fan who's like screeching into the clouds, like about the need for a pass rusher, like some fans are. I think a lot of the options in the draft, they either wouldn't fit what the Lions want to do or would not be a character fit. People talked about Mike Green, that Mike Green fell out of the first round and that the Lions should have maybe taken him. If you say that, then you know nothing about the Lions organization as it exists right now. Like, they in no way would ever go for a guy like Mike Green. Yep. Doesn't matter how talented he is, with what he's been accused of doing and like all the stuff swirling around him in terms of his off-field issues. And in addition to that, the fact that he apparently has not interviewed well and he comes across really poorly in terms of his attitude. He's like the antithesis of everything this Lions regime looks for in players. Yeah. So that was never going to happen. And then otherwise, they look for a specific type. I mean, they want a guy who's like Hutch, 6'5 plus, 265, 270 plus. Like, they don't draft 240-pound third down specialist pass rushers. They draft 270, 280-pound 6'5 guys who can hold the edge against the run and then also give you pass rush. That's who they draft. Yep. So, like, there's only so many guys like that, and I think they did. Brad Holmes said they tried to get some, and it just didn't work out. So I just wanted to address that since that always comes up, like this idea of the pass rusher. I would love another one, but they can't afford a guy like Trey Hendrickson to trade for him, which people have talked about, because they can't, like, just paying Hutch $40 million is going to be tough. There's no way they can pay another guy $40 million, which is what Hendrickson is going to demand. Yep. So it's just not going to happen. Like, it is what it is. Maybe Zadarius Smith comes back. Maybe Hassanine works out, or maybe they bring some other guy in, like DeMarcus Walker, and maybe he can contribute. Fine. Like, yeah. So anyway, we're getting a little off topic here.
No. This is good. I had totally forgotten that they had him in just a couple of weeks ago. I must have either missed that or I don't know, for a free agent visit. Also, how old are you now that he's 30 years old? DeMarcus Walker's 30 years old. Whew. I feel like I've been watching him play for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. He would be a good fit. He's a good fit size-wise for what they're looking for, 6'4", 280. they love guys like that. The sort of Levi Onwuzurike is sort of a similar, like, can kind of play inside outside. What's his name? They drafted him from LSU last year. He's kind of smaller guy, but I think also roughly 280. Makai Wingo, who's another kind of tweener, DT end size kind of guy. So they have a lot. And if they all don't get injured again, if we don't have like 15 guys on IR on defense again, I think we'll be pretty stout, and I think we'll be pretty strong. Like, I have some concerns about Goff because he'll have these, he only had 2 games last year where he was really terrible, against Houston, where they got away with it, and against Washington, where they didn't get away with it. So.
Yeah. I to be fair, I don't think they were going to win that Washington game anyway. There was a lot stacked up against them, but
I mean, I think if you don't turn the ball over 5 times on offense, at least you have a shot of being in that game, right?
There's that.
People give Jaden Daniels a ton of, people go over the moon for Jaden Daniels in that game, and he played well, nothing against the guy, but you're playing against third stringers on the defense in a lot of positions, and their offense gave you the ball 5 times. I mean, you better score a lot of points, or otherwise, and again, nothing against Jaden Daniels, he's a very good quarterback, but people were praising him in a way that was that was kind of an ideal situation for you. You're playing against a really injured defense, and they keep handing you the ball back. So, anyway, though, bitter Lions fan aside, I like what they did. I like where the roster's at. We have 2 years or so to make something happen. I hope we do. And I hope they bring in a couple more guys, even if it's just for, competition, see what they can do, or shore up the defensive line a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll see where things go.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to end real quick. I wanted to take a look.
The Hall of Fame game is pretty early, isn't it?
No. It's beginning of August, isn't it? 2025. Oh, July 31st. Wow, you're right.
Yeah, it's pretty early. Yeah. So interested to see. I'd be curious to see how some of these guys do. This year, maybe more than some other ones. I'm very curious because guys like TeSlaa will be playing in that game. Your Ratledge, or a couple of these guard spots, they'll be playing. Giovanni Manu, who I'm really interested in seeing, who was the guy from British Columbia, that gigantic tackle from the University of British Columbia that they drafted last year, who apparently progressed very well last year and was training with Taylor Decker in the offseason. So we'll see. But, I'm interested to see how he plays, because he was very, very rough last year, as you would expect coming from the Canadian university level, which is nowhere near. When I say Canadian university, the university I went to, which is Western University, in London, Ontario, Canada, is their stadium holds a couple thousand people. And
it's a high
never
school stadium.
It's not like a Texas high school stadium. I'll tell you that. It's like a non-football smaller school high school,
a soccer stadium.
That's the scale, and there are bigger ones than that. But that's the scale of university level football in Canada for the most part. It is not what it is in the U.S. There is no big house equivalent in Canada. Nothing even remotely close. It's just not that level of play. So he was coming from kind of the what is it, single A going into the MLB. It's a big jump from where he was at to that, but apparently he's done. So we're gonna get to see a lot of guys like that, and this year maybe more than others. I'm actually probably gonna pay more attention to some of these preseason games, because I am curious how some of these battles and that are going to shake out. And I think this will be the final year of the Hendon Hooker experiment.
Yes, let's hope so. Please, let's hope so.
Or let's hope he gets better. I would love for him to go and ball out, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And if he had worked out, then that would have been maybe their way out, right? You could move on from Goff and go into him. I don't think that was necessarily their idea. I think they brought him in as a backup, and then if he was good enough, maybe get some trade value for him. I think that was the idea with him, but I don't think they're getting that out of him. So.
No, I honestly Jared's fine. Don't touch him. Leave him alone for this year. If he gets hurt, okay, we're in trouble. But he's fine. He's not that. Yeah. He's not necessarily. He does very well when he can dink and dunk. That is his game plan. Like let him get 5 yards and let two amazing running backs just crush you for the other 5. Perfect. Jared, you do your thing. One thing I did want to point out with Giovanni Manu, excuse me, he's 6'7", 354. You can't teach that.
Dude's a giant. Well, that's why they drafted him. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they saw something raw in his ability, but that's why they drafted him. Like, guys just aren't that big.
No.
Even offensive line guys aren't that big. 6'7", 350, like, dude's enormous and athletic. Like, he can run and move, too, much more than you would ever expect a guy that size to be able to. So, like, that's why. I mean, if he can work out and Taylor Decker's not getting any younger, so... I think he's the long-term replacement idea for Taylor Decker. So.
Love it. Awesome. Well, on that note, thanks for listening to Lions Chat. We're going to be taking over the Pride of Detroit. We're just going to call ourselves the Pride of Lux or something along those lines. I don't know. This has been great. We will have to be back probably right around the turn of the year with more to talk about. We will definitely have more to talk about. Not the turn of the year, the turn of the season, excuse me. We're not going to be breaking down all of the schedule changes and rosters. And
no, maybe we'll do an episode after all the preseason games are done, maybe heading into the regular season when the roster has kind of solidified more and we see where things are at. And we might have some more to talk about there.
We should do a live fantasy football draft, just me and you. Just the two of us.
Sure, I'm down.
Heck yeah.
Us two in the league, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Oof. Sure.
That's painful.
How stacked those teams would be.
That'd be great. Like 400-point games. It'd be amazing. Well, that's not true. It'd be 400 on one side and then like 50 on the other because just random good players just getting hurt all the time.
I made it to the finals in both my leagues last year and lost in the final match. I got in our Lux league, because we do one every year, so if you're interested in that, discord.gg/LuxDigitalChurch.
I won that one.
I got blown out in that one this past year.
Yeah, I won that league this year.
By Capsian.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You didn't win this year. Capsian won this year.
That's true.
He blew me out in the final game.
I won last year. That's right. I won the first year.
And in my other league, I lost by like 3 points because I had Brock Purdy, and in the Niners game against the Lions, they took him out and Josh Dobbs came in.
That's right.
And got the touchdown, final touchdown, I think, for the Niners. If he stays in and gets that touchdown, I win that league. But because he went out, I lost. So
hey, your boy Brock's going to get paid in a couple of weeks. So there you go. It's all going to be worth it, right?
Yeah, the Niners are collapsing around him. They're losing all their good players, but now they'll have to finally pay their quarterback.
God rest your soul.
Good job, all right, thanks. Good job, San Fran.
Yeah, well, San Fran did what the Lions. I don't want the Lions to do. I don't think we've talked about that, but they ran out of cap room. They ran out of runway, and they went, okay, this was our shot. Their shot was 2 years ago, and when they beat the Lions then that was their shot, and then they totally blew it. And here we are. They're collapsed. They're done. Love it. All right, we need to end this episode. Thanks everybody for watching our football chat. Until next time, you can catch all of our other things. We love you. We miss you. Subscribe, like. See you next time. Bye.